Firstborn, oh Lord. Passion for the ones who always had my backing. Never let the people's doubt become your main attraction. So many dreams up in my head, I start to feel amazing. I know that I'm the only one that's qualified to chase them. Stuck up in the house but can't control my mind. On the day we make it out will be a different time. I think that God been trying to speak, so now we gotta listen. I keep it real, that's how I feel and how I keep my distance. I've been building, working, pacing, trying to never go make it. I just sit back and I face it. Problems coming, falling, often. We ain't been taking no losses, been fighting for all of it, all of it. See, I don't know why they don't like me. Like me, rap so cold, go drink a icy. Icy, I'm in your head, you cannot find me. Find me, find me. I don't know why they don't. See, I don't know why they don't like me. Like me, rap so cold, go drink a icy. Icy, in my own head, someone can find me. Find me, find me. I don't know why they don't.
Straight off the bat, production.
Yeah.
There's no claps. It's a snare.
Really?
Just the way you like it.
That's a fact. So you're saying if you would have done it your way, there would have been a slap in this, or a clap.
No, this one actually sounds better with the snare. I already know it does.
Every song does.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
I'm sorry.
Oh, man.
No. But yeah, man. Was this FaceTime?
This was a historical moment of creating a song from beginning to end through FaceTime, basically.
So this was obviously during the pandemic. We were locked up. When is this? Beginning of quarantine?
Basically, it was, I want to say it was probably March, April.
Oh, so this is like almost a year ago, or a year ago, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we literally, I wasn't able to go to the studio. Like, I think you had shut everything down. And I was like, well, we need to get this work. And I was like, well, FaceTime.
Yeah. Okay, I remember. This is the first one we did?
Yeah.
Through FaceTime? Okay. So I do remember, because then I remember... Oh, I actually do remember. I think I remember, I was like, yo, are you still coming? And then you were like, yeah, bro, I'm ready.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I don't see your car. You were like, nah, bro, FaceTime. And I was like, oh, I remember that.
I was like, bro, we can't leave our house. Like, what are you talking about? I was like,
that's hilarious. I just remember I just needed an excuse to see you. And I was like, I guess FaceTime will work.
Nah,
but I remember that.
That's totally true. I totally forgot about that.
I was expecting to see you.
You were like, all right, you outside? Where you at? I was like, nah, bro, FaceTime.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
It's funny because this one, literally, so this was technically the beginning of the project in regards to production, because I remember I was like, I want the majority of the beats to be like sample-based.
Yeah.
So literally it was going through on FaceTime, you just kind of going through samples that you had, and us kind of being like, this one, this one, yeah, basically. So we ended up landing on this one, and it was like immediate energy for this track.
Yeah, I feel like we just clicked on it.
Yeah.
I felt like it was more of like, you like this? Cool. Okay, I'm gonna add this kick. It's cool. Snare. All right, cool. Hi-hats, 808, crash.
Yeah, it was
super
It
was
cool.
Like, everything I added, I remember you were like, it's good.
Yeah.
And then, I felt like every, 10 minutes, I was like, all right, man. I texted you the beat just so you can hear it in, better quality on your headphones. And you were like, sounds good. And then, I don't know, this was when Vanessa was there, and then she had to approve of it, too, you know?
Yeah, my wife is my A&R. So she A&R'd the whole album. she literally I'll finish a beat or a track and be like, yo, check this out. Just like tell me what you think. And yeah, for her it's like I always respect the non-hip hop head people's opinion. So she's like, she loves good music, especially even hip hop music, but she's not like, you know, a super nerd hip hop person. So when she likes a beat or she like you play it and she's like, yo, this is dope, then you know this is gonna play to like people who may love hip hop, may love those bangers, or just like high energy, high energy music. So this was definitely that. And it's funny because we even like created the whole concept and everything within that whole FaceTime session. So I remember like first bar something came up about like me, something like that, and I was like, yo, like we could totally go a whole direction with that.
Yeah, I remember now.
Yeah, it's funny because this concept to me was really interesting and important to kind of talk about because it's like, the way that I approached the hook was, I don't know, why they don't like me, rap so cold, go drink a icy, I'm in your head, you cannot find me, whatever. It was like this idea of, when you have this kind of like chip on your shoulder where you're like, yo, I know that what I'm doing is good and dope and we're making good music. I don't, yeah, exactly. So you almost have like this attitude of like, yo, like I'm tripping, like why aren't people like into this, But then the second part of the hook is like, I'm in my own head, someone come find me, this whole like, I don't know why they don't like me. And now it's more of like this insecurity of like, yo, and we all have those moments where, especially as artists and like creatives, it's like, dang, like I feel like what we're doing is good. So I'm kind of confused on why people aren't feeling it. But then there's this other side of when you get insecure about it, it's like, dang, like, is it good? Are we making stuff that's good? And then, that could fuel the fire to keep going. But
yeah, you got that. You need that outside affirmation, basically. To make sure that you feel like you're on the right path to please everyone. But you're saying this one was approached differently.
Yeah, and that's where, to me, it was like, man, I felt like it was important to have that, put that out there because it's like, yo, like this is what I wanted, to be able to show like, yeah, at the end of the day, I'm in my own journey of understanding that this music isn't just about whether people like it or not. Even with this project, it was like this album is, I want to be happy with it, just creating good music. And if people like it, great. If they don't, I know that I'm in a place where I want to just do the best that I can and be happy with the final product.
And this was a good product.
Yeah, I think I was happy with it. And
not just because I'm the producer and I recorded mix. Like, honestly, it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
It was dope, bro.
I appreciate that, man. And it's funny because this was one of the first, like, verses I remember working on during quarantine, like, literally writing. So I got bars, like, like, stuck up inside my house but can't control my mind. Like literally being in a place of writing, thinking about all of this stuff, wanting to create music, but being in a place where you can't do what we used to be able to do. So it was an interesting song to write. I feel like there were so many things that kind of go into it. Mm-hmm. But, ultimately I think it's a concept that everyone can relate to, whether you're a creative or not. Like, wanting to be the best version of yourself, and sometimes people are going to like you, sometimes they're not. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're going to be okay with that, and some days you may not be. But, I really felt like that, especially when we dropped the project. Like I was telling you, like, literally when you post something on social media, especially like something as big as like an album, like I remember the first like 10 minutes I was actually like, I felt sad because I was like waiting for people to respond and like get that affirmation, and not because I felt like I was like needed it, but it was more of you're eager to hear what people think about it. So I remember I was sitting there like, dang, like I haven't heard from anybody yet. And so, but then I was like, man, I need to put in the work. Like, I need to promote it. Like, people may not even realize that it's dropped yet. So I started, like, hitting people up, promoting it, and, eventually getting that feedback and starting to hear what people were thinking about it, man. And that, it was dope to get the feedback and response from people.
It's funny because you're telling me that you were looking for people to go be like, yo, this is dope, this is dope, this is dope. And I feel like that's so normal now that I'm thinking about the other people that I work with. They're always just like, they put it out, and they're like, I don't care who listens to it. They just wanted to put it out. And I feel like those people, they're just like in a whole different headspace now that I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, I don't even think that, or they even cared if it was good or not. They were just releasing some music that was just in their head that they were like, I just need to get this out.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking like, dang, you're in a whole different headspace. And I'm thinking about the whole other like headspaces that there are in between too, Yeah. But that's so crazy to me that I feel like I would expect, now that I'm thinking out loud, like I would expect most people to be like you, like I put in so much work, like go listen to it, and it's like A lot of people are not like that, and that's kind of weird now.
Well, the thing is, like you were mentioning earlier, like the struggle of being an independent artist, and I've been doing this for a while. But I haven't been, and I would say I haven't been doing it for that long as an independent, like solo artist. Like, you know, obviously, you know, been doing music by myself since we've been working together. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, you know, I literally found out the week of that Drake was dropping the same day as me, Friday, you know, and as soon as I saw that, I was like, dang. Not that I ever thought that I would be in competition with that.
Well, yeah, obviously no competition, like, because you're going to outshine Drake immediately. Of course,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I felt bad for him. I was like,
low-key, man.
I was like, dang, you messed up.
Literally. That's why you need to let know at him first.
Yeah, exactly.
He messed up,
But I was like someone like that, like, you know, they're going to take so much attention from people going to listen to their music. And so it's hard because, like, nowadays, because of, like, you know, the streaming services, Spotify, all this stuff, like, people, I feel like, are not as eager to go listen to new music. Even myself, I could say, like, I'm not, like, rushing to, you know, some new song sometimes. So I know that, like, in order to get people hyped about your music, like, you have to pump them up about it. You know, shout out to Joe Budden. So that's where, to me, it was like, I've learned that if I'm not hype about me releasing music, why would I expect anyone else to be?
Literally.
You know? So to me, it's like, if I'm not going to go and advocate for myself and say, yo, this album, and that's where I've actually learned to gain more confidence, say, like, nah, this is dope. Mm-hmm. Like, this needs to be on your playlist because it's fire. Yeah. And you're going to find at least one song that you're going to be able to put on replay. You know? So that's what I've learned is, like, I found more satisfaction from doing that. And I also approach things from, like, a very, like, business perspective is, like, you know, I've learned, like, promotion and marketing and all that stuff is everything. Like, if you're not going to put the work in. So, I, like, even with video stuff, I've told, like, Jay's, like, why am I going to do a full music video when I can do 3 videos? You know what I mean? And drag that out for there's more content, you know?
Exactly. Shout out 26 Does.
Exactly. So, those are the kind of strategies that go into it, right? And it just... Anyway,
literally,
yeah, like going into the whole conversation, but you know, it's just so good. Anyway, track number 4.
Yeah.
Free Peace. This one though. Is. Fire's born, oh Lord.
Yo, Mars, let's get it.
Lord knows. Life been super crazy lately. More flights and more vacations for my stress. I can't get no sleep, can't get no rest. Gotta keep these problems off my chest. Oh Lord. Life been super crazy lately. More flights and more vacations for my stress. I can't get no sleep, can't get no rest. I can't get it. Lord, come set me free, yeah.
I just need peace.
Yes.
Piece of that pizza. Okay. But yes.
Gosh, pizza, my favorite.
Mm-hmm. Free Peace.
Free Peace.
A lot to discuss on this one.
Yeah, man.
Yep.
This peace is like I've learned in this past year is probably like the number one thing I'm looking for in life is just live a life of peace is like A1. That's like it. And this song to me, I was actually, when I had released it, I was talking with a friend who was listening to the project, and Free Peace was one of the first ones that he brought up. He's like, yo, Free Peace, dope. I've had multiple people say that. When I was talking to him, I was like, yeah, like, this song was written, like, summer, right in the middle of, you know, being in quarantine for months. But not only that, this song more so was about, like, all the, like, social injustice, all the, you know, racial injustice, all the, you know, murders and riots and all this stuff that was going on. And I don't know about you, man, but I was like, you couldn't go on social media without feeling anxiety, like, hit, you know? So I remember when I was writing this song, man, like those were the things that were in my mind when I was writing the song. And it's funny because to me, this is one of the like hardest beats on the project. Like it just
Probably
bangs.
to me too, yeah.
But it was dope because I felt like the hook is like gives you that like, yo, like life right now is like, it's no joke. Like, so even when I wrote that bar of like more flights and more vacations, it's actually kind of ironic because at the time we couldn't even really fly anywhere.
Apparently, we were locked out of every country.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like that when you understand like
yeah.
when I was writing this, like you start to realize like I'm almost like imagining like dang like for the day that we can go out and like get away because right now we can't. We were in that place where we couldn't. And so like again, these types of beats are like not like the norm for me to like not my style. But that's why I go to you because to me like when we work like. It's just something different every time. And I know that I'm looking for stuff that's going to challenge me. And so when I was able to kind of just go and write to this beat, it was like, yo, like, I'm literally just trying to find something different. And it pulls something out of me that I'm like, I didn't even know was there. But, you know, I really felt like I was able to kind of express that in the verse, like, giving that out of just the reality of, like, man, like, I want peace for myself, for my family, and for the people that, you know, even if I can get it, the people that in the world that don't have it.
Yeah, this one's just a little touchy, I guess.
It is.
Because from the beginning when you were talking about how you felt anxiety to be on your phone because, like, it's pretty much the only thing that was being displayed and being shown to us.
Yeah.
And, like, there's this little battle of, like... And I feel like a lot of people had it. I know I had it where it's, like, you see it, and then there's a point of view where you're like, okay, I don't want to see this no more. But then you feel guilty because at that point you're not doing anything too. Because now you're just like, you're not using your resources or your voice. But then when you do, then you just get like you get caught up, and then it's just like, it's just all bad.
It's a balance.
It's just like
it's a balance, man, and that's why it was great. Like I was grateful to be able to go out and like actually protest. Like for me, it was actually my first time ever doing that. Like. You know, and so I put myself out there in a place because I knew it's true. Like, especially when you're sitting in a place where you couldn't do anything else but post, and posting almost felt wrong. Like, you know what I mean? In a certain sense, it just it felt weird. Same. So, you know, to be able to go out and do something, man. Like, you know, that was great. And you know, it's crazy because you know, big in 2021, like. Obviously, we're not in that same place anymore as where we were in that, especially in that summertime. But circumstances haven't necessarily changed or anything. It's just, you know, like you were saying, we're not being shown on social media. It's not as overwhelming, but you know, we're still at a place of fighting for peace.
Definitely.
I think that's something that to me this song gives you that like to me it's a message that is timeless. Like whether it's 20, like that's what's crazy to me with some of my other music, like old music, is like you listen to like songs like Freedom that I wrote in 2016, 2017. To me, that song plays even today, lyrically and everything. Like, so this is to me is one of those songs that, you know, in 5 years from now, we might be in a place where that's going to still be very relevant, you know? So, and the reason why I put it as an interlude is because, like, first of all, it's short, you know, hook, verse, hook.
And that's out. Yeah.
And that's it. But second of all, to me, it was a very, like, it kind of was its own moment to me. Where you have, like, we just went through the first 3 songs, Ego, Like Me, Changes, Free Peace, and then there's kind of a shift in the project. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Track 5.
Hit Me Back? Oh, wait. Never Settle?
No, it's Hit Me Back.
Hit me, baby, one more time.
Firstborn, oh Lord.
Yo, Marvs, let's get it.
4 o'clock in the morning, texting hit my phone. Lonely vibes in my mind when I'm home alone. I ain't never catch the vibe when you hit me though. See, I could go for days just doing me, but you still with me though. So unprotected by the shots that I take myself. Like how the world's so full of hate, yet I'm still on the shelf. It ain't my turn, but it's coming while I'm warming up. Feeling the stress while I'm cooking, let me vent. Wrote a verse about you. Yes.
Hit me back.
Hit me.
Hit me back. This is another FaceTime, huh?
Yeah, what's funny about this one was this was actually one of the beats that you had kind of worked on but didn't finish. So it was literally kind of like a loop. And I remember you kind of played it and was like, yeah, I got this beat. Because I kind of explained, you know, the vibes I was looking for. You're like, oh, I think I got something. Played it. Wasn't finished. And you're like, all right, let's do something else. And I was like, no, wait. Let's go back to that one real quick. And I was like, I was a little hesitant. But I was like, I think this might work. And this was actually one of those first ones that I started writing to as well, where I was like, I loved it because I'm like, this is probably there's some other, like, Ego has a storytelling aspect to it. I mean, there's a lot of that. I do a lot of that with a lot of these songs. But this one to me was a very intentional story that I felt like I hadn't told in a while.
Yeah.
So I remember it was funny. I was actually working like late at night, doing like some like side gig that I used to do. And I was like listening to this beat and literally that phrase hit me back, kind of just came into my mind. And it was inspired off another song by Kendrick. He has like a song, I forgot what it was called, but he kind of does that where he just repeats this one like simple phrase. And to me, I was like, when I listened to this song, it became like a letter that I was writing to someone.
Yeah, that's the vibe I get.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what it was. It was like, I remember being in this place where I felt like spiritually, I was like, man, like I haven't connected with God in a while. And I felt like I needed to write out like, yo, I feel disconnected. That's kind of what it was. And I don't know if it's because of me or if it's because of you, but it's probably because of me. But I was still like, I need to write this out. So I felt like I was telling that story. But, you know, I love writing songs like this because in that first verse, I think a lot of people when they're listening to it might connect it to a relationship, but maybe a past relationship, friendship or something of someone that they maybe grew up with but haven't, you know, connected with in a while. And so you have that same feeling of like, yo, hit me back. I want to connect with you. I'm like, you know. So to me, it was literally that, like growing up in church, like on weekends, going on Sundays, like, you know, having all those moments. Then you grow up and get older and you're like, dang, you feel so far away.
Yeah.
So that's literally what the song was, you know, was that moment of just, you know, trying to get reconnected to a relationship that I felt like I was lacking in or didn't have, you know, as solid. So it was literally that letter to God kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like this one was straightforward, self-explanatory. At least to me, that's how I felt. I feel like I got what exactly you were saying, and it was like the mood was set, the vibe was right. I don't know. It's one of my favorites. Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites, and again, this is also more my style. So like when I think of beats that I'm like in my own head, and when I think of my like what I could just write without question on, it's a beat like this. That's my opinion. I thought you said it was boom bap. Yeah, I mean, this to me has like has an esque boom, like it's like a. I feel like the only thing boom bap about this is the sample that. Yeah. But it's probably tempo too because it's very like, it's that I can just go. Yeah. You know? Oh, this one has that the switch up in the end too. Yes. Okay. I was getting there. My bad. Surprise. Yeah. And you know, I was thinking it was dope that we had a lot of moments like this on this project. Yeah. It just added, you know, just dope stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So that ending part to me, I like it because it doesn't necessarily what I'm saying in that ending part. First of all, the beat switch up is just insane. I love it.
But I go back to a lot of some of my favorite songs. You know, like Drake did this a lot in Nothing Was the Same. He had a few songs, I think, or he did it in that album. He did it in Take Care, where he had like a second song in the song.
Yeah.
And that's what this was to me. It wasn't necessarily a part of Hit Me Back. It was kind of its own song within that song.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why lyrically you might be like,
what?
I don't get it. Does it really connect to that? But it doesn't. It's not really meant to.
That's why it's purposely a little gap too. It's not supposed to like.
Yeah,
it kind of leads in, but not necessarily. There is a gap of like silence.
And that's what I actually wanted, because I was like, I don't want it to be so long where people miss it. Yeah. But I want it to be enough to where it feels like it's almost like the track went to the next. Because if it was on a CD, it might have gone to another, album, song or whatever. So that's why, to me, this was actually a continuation of my thought process of the whole concept of the album. So when I'm talking about a new level, met by my future devils, it was literally a continuation of really ego, because it was like this idea of now I'm getting to this new place where I'm immersing in, or ego and changes, because I was going into this new place of this is like the new version of me. Mm-hmm. Like I'm no longer this passive person who's going to let my fantasies kind of drive me. So that's why I love what I say at the end, is like I'm no longer driven by I switched chasing my dreams to harsh realities. And so basically what I'm saying is I'm refusing to let myself live in this idea of chasing a dream. I'd rather live in the harsh reality of today, of what my life is today. Because if I live in the harsh reality of today, that's going to motivate me more to actually pursue the dreams and the life that I want to live.
To make that a reality.
To make it a reality.
Simple but hard to execute.
Exactly. But it's like, that's the facade. Mm-hmm. We'd rather live in, I'm just, chasing my dreams. Like, no, we'll live in reality. Right now, you're nowhere near that. So you better deal with that to the point where it's going to push you towards it.
I feel you.
Yeah. So that's why I said, how did that happen? I was sitting all alone with my thoughts so rearranged. Just you have to force yourself to face the reality, basically.
I feel like we just get comfortable. Yeah. And I think that's horrible.
Yeah. It sucks because then time just keeps passing you by. That's literally. So anyway, that whole little 12 bar verse to me is and it's funny because I wrote it in the studio. You're chopping up the beat.
Oh yeah, we made it together. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, literally just like that. And yeah, I love it. That was one of my favorite moments in the whole EP.
I can't get it how I'm feeling, how I live. I be thanking God for the love that's real. Living carefree, got the plug that's